So we're in the middle of a heat wave at the moment in England, and this is literally the only way to cool off. Today I'm going to be showing you my studio. Well, calling it a studio is probably a little bit grandiose maybe, but still, it's where I do all my recording and all my live streams. I can say that now because I've done live streams. Not gonna lie, that was actually really refreshing. Anyway, here we are, into the studio, as probably everybody knows by now. I'm gonna start from left here and go all the way to the actual stuff you're probably here for. This is filler. This is filler. I'm gonna talk about poster now. How boring is that? Lord of the Rings. Yes, you've got to love it. You've got to love Lord of the Rings. If you don't like it, I don't like you. Fair enough, right? Next, we're moving on to The Last of Us. Now, The Last of Us was a fantastic game, but I kind of got a little thing to admit. Never actually completed it. I actually started a playthrough on my channel, never completed it. I did watch other YouTubers play through it, like PewDiePie, and it was just such a great game. One of my favorite games, never completed it. Here we go, around to my Dexter poster, one of my favorite TV series. They really ruined it at the end. Why'd they do that? Why'd they do that? Still, one of my favorites, which is why I've got this Dexter poster. I went for like this really almost movie style one. They had some other ones with like all the cast. It looked boring to me. It wasn't visually impactful and it didn't show off what I really wanted it to show. Whereas this is just, you know, Dexter Morgan's face in this like shrink wrap stuff. It's really cool. We carry on. Halo, one of probably the biggest game-changing FPS games that I've ever played. It was the greatest game ever when I was a kid, and it's still a fantastic game. I play pretty much every day Halo 5, Warzone, represent. And so I thought I would go for a poster that just, you know, really took into account my love for Halo, and the fact that this one came out, the Master Chief Collection, with such high quality, awesome art was just, awesome. I like minimalism. And so having such a minimalist poster really works. And you know, you just got the Master Chief skull there. It just really brings it out. It's really cool. If you want to instantly make a room more interesting, fairy lights. Fairy lights is the way to do everything, in fact. Just to make a room better, fairy lights does it. What else do I got? Well, I've got this couch. Okay, now if you're thinking to yourself, wow, that's an uncomfortable looking couch, you're right. It is incredibly uncomfortable. This goes to show that you should never buy a couch on eBay. Ever. Okay? If you can't physically sit, don't buy it. Pictures do not show how uncomfortable the couch is. Still, looks good, plays up to the minimalism. I got these pretty sexy pillows, you know? Oh, paint me. Paint me like one of your French girls, Jack. Paint me pixels. Paint me like some of your fan art. By the way, if you want a theme for a room and you can't think of one, go for the Union Jack. It's simple, brings out your patriotism, looks awesome, the colors are complementary. You know, what more could you want? Okay, just get some pillows, get a rug as well. Let me show you my rug. Yeah, here's the rug, okay? So, this rug actually has some various stains. If we make our way just to the top here. Oh, why can't? Where are the? Oh, spin around. Okay, so this rug here, you probably can't see it, but it's incredibly stained. So this is where I drop George. So once you're kind of happy with the. Turns out pumpkin stains carpets. You never knew that, did you? I sure didn't. So I dropped George and I threw loads of pumpkin guts on the floor, and it's come back to haunt me. Fun thing is this is going to serve as a reminder for that video, and I loved that video. That video was so much fun to make. I see why YouTubers do pumpkin carving, because it is fun. But yeah, all these stains, it serves as a remembrance to George. Long may he rest in pumpkin. Other things I got, big fan. This is my biggest fan. Sorry guys, if you think you're my biggest fan, this is my biggest fan. So I like to keep it on my back. It keeps me cool, but I'm not squinting. Some people like to keep their fans at like the side of their desk, where you're constantly like getting blown in the face and you're just like, no, it dries out your eyeballs. So I just put it on the back of me. Couch. This here is kind of like a junk drawer. Not drunk, not as in like it's been drinking. Junk drawer. So just random junk in here, like loads of cables and stuff that I don't really want to get into. But let me show you what I keep on here. So charger for my Nikon camera batteries. That's exciting, isn't it? My headphones, indestructible. Some drawing stuff. This little tripod, which is one of my best purchases ever. It is awesome. Stapler for when I need to staple hats. Bottle of Jack Daniels. Nikon 50mm lens. This is, if I've done any really sexy looking shots for this video with the background all blurred, it's with this thing. This thing is amazing for that. Little GoPro, basically because I used to do mud runs and stuff. So having a GoPro and recording that was really cool. Made a little channel about it. Not many people know, but it's pretty much dead now. The videos are still up. Someone will find them at some point, but yeah. You got the Logitech C920. Pretty much every YouTuber in existence uses this, which is funny because I generally don't. I only use it for live streams. And you got a Drift, which I used for my motorbike when I had a motorbike and it wasn't crashed. Anything else? Right, yes, this little bad boy. Can you guess what this is? Where this is from? This is actually from my first ever live stream. It's such a cool little souvenir for how awesome that live stream was. My heart was beating so fast, the adrenaline was pumping, and I opened a bottle of champagne to celebrate 2,000 subscribers, and you know, I'm gonna keep this forever, guys. That's forever. A watch box with 2 watches in. At one point I was gonna start a collection, but I was like, that's really expensive. Around the side here, I got my tripod. You've got to get a decent tripod if you're going to be making any kind of videos whatsoever. Let's move on to what I actually sit in on a daily basis. This is a Dxracer Classic in black. Very expensive bit of kit, but I like I say, I sit in it every day. I spend probably half my life in this thing. So it's best to get quite an expensive chair that you really like and is really going to support you. So, you know, lots of money was spent on this, but I personally think it was worth it. I was actually, for a long time, like literally maybe 2 years of my life was spent on this thing here. Okay, so if I talk about how expensive stuff is, all that to me is saying is how long it took me to get to this chair. Okay, so yes, it's expensive, but I'm not bragging. I saved up so much money for this chair. But I spent so long in this chair, okay? It's not like I just jumped straight to something like this. If you're able to do it though, and you have the money to spare, this is by far the best chair you can get. Normally I wouldn't really go for a Dxracer chair. I don't like the bucket seat style that they have. Like, you feel like you're in a racing car, or you're meant to. I wanted more like an office chair, and I saw this one and just fell in love with it. You're gonna find your true love as well. Mine is the chair. Few people actually know this, but the chair also does rock backwards, allowing me a little bit more freedom of movement. It also has this feature, which is a bit scary, where it can recline all the way back. Why I would want to do that, I'm unsure. I think this is probably the second time I've ever done this. Yeah, awesome. What am I meant to do here? You know, am I meant to go to sleep? I wouldn't sleep in this chair. It's comfortable and all, but yeah, I couldn't sleep in it. You know what? It's growing on me. It's kind of nice, relaxed. I can see all the cobwebs on my ceiling and all the dead bugs in that light. It's gross. Every once in a while, you should really look at life in a different angle. Wangle a new dangle on life. So that's the chair. Very cool, very stylish, and hopefully it will continue to support me for a lot longer. So over here we have my vast shoe collection. I got 1 pair. Say it with me, kids. 2 pair. And that's it. So now let's move on to what most people end up asking me about. This is not a desk, okay? As much as people probably think it looks and acts very much like a desk, it's not a desk. What this actually is a breakfast bar on top of 2 IKEA bookcases. That's all it is. Nothing particularly fancy. I knew that I wanted the biggest desk I could get, and this right here is it. So solid. It's gonna last me a lot longer than any other desk probably ever will. But yeah, it cost a little, well, actually, arguably, it probably was cheaper than most desks. I know I could have got a desk, you know, about this size, you know, for about the same price. So having extra room on the desk is something that is very important to me. I don't particularly know why. So IKEA actually make these bookcases exactly for this purpose, so they are just the right height for your legs to get under. It's pretty much the standard height for any desk, which is really nice, because they're not just giving you a fully made desk. You get to choose what goes on it, and I just think it looks so much nicer. So on this bookcase here, I just keep all my games, which are obviously not the digital format. So you got the PlayStation 4 games here, some Xbox One games. Most of the time I buy it all digitally now, because I have 2 Xboxes in the house. What I do is when I buy it online, then I get to use that game on both Xboxes, which is great for when I have people over, want to play some co-op. So even though sometimes the digital games can be more expensive, it's still pretty much worth it to get both on the 2 Xboxes. So let's go ahead and actually look at what's inside this computer. Now, funny enough, considering it's probably the biggest part of the entire sort of thing that I have here, I didn't spend that much on it. This is actually quite a cheap computer. The components inside, you've got a WindForce NVIDIA 970, I think. You've got, for some reason, an AMD A9. I personally would have preferred anything Intel, but it wasn't my choice at the time. You've got a 128 gig solid state hard drive. I'll probably write it all down in the description if you really want to know what is all this junk in my computer. Obviously, the most important part of the computer is the blue LED light strip at the top. That's what makes it a gaming computer. Clearly, makes it much quicker. The actual RAM draws in the light from the blue lights and expels it for a higher refresh rate and more frames per second. I can change it to green, but that gives me more storage, so I try to keep it at blue all the time. There's going to be people out there who actually believe this. Well, it wasn't that boring. I think my posters were actually more interesting than my computer. So, let's actually look at what's on this desk of mine. What we got? We got this Blue Yeti microphone. Boom. Incredibly good. For the price, you're paying about £100, maybe 110 for the black version. But I had to go black because obviously everything I have is black. It's kind of the theme I'm going for. The Blue Yeti is fantastic. You can take it off the stand. The stand is incredibly high quality though, so I've decided against it. Having a really heavy stand is great because obviously it minimizes any vibrations that might come through on the table here. Part of that is also in this sort of mouse mat that I have. But the Blue Yeti is fantastic. This thing here, it always falls off when I'm playing scary games because I always jump and the thing flies off. It's considered like a spit guard, so if you end up spitting on the mic, this is gonna catch it before it comes in, and you're just gonna have lots of popping on your audio, or it's gonna help with wind and stuff. Personally, I don't think it does any of that. I think that's all lies. I think it just looks cool. Just makes it look less like a dildo. If you're struggling to find a good mic and you can't afford a Rode mic or anything massively top end like this, this is fantastic for starting YouTube. Then over here we have my lovely little Jack Daniels like barrel, and it's like for all my pens and stuff. Look how cool that is. See, before I had this, my pens were just everywhere. They were just willy-nilly, just strewn around. Now they have a place to live, and I love it. It's a really cool little gift. I got given it. Thank you for giving me this. I appreciate it. Coming at you next, we got this Wacom Intuos, I think it's called. Yeah, Intuos. It's basically just a graphics tablet. I can draw on it just like I would be drawing on any piece of paper. The only difference is that I have to look at the screen on Photoshop to actually, you know, see what I'm doing. So I'd be there, you know, and you can. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but after that, I think digital drawing is definitely the way forward. If you're looking for, like, you know, photorealistic drawing or cartoonish drawing that you want it color instantly, obviously digital is just by far the way to go. Chances are you're not going to start on something like this. You're going to start with a Wacom Bamboo, which I did. If you start on something like this, you are lucky. You're a very lucky person. If you ever want to get into digital art or drawing or anything at all, like graphic design maybe, this is going to be your bread and butter. This is what you're going to use for a lot of it. It came with this nifty little pen holder, which if you twist the bottom there, you've got all the different nibs. So if you change out a nib on a pen for one of these, it's going to have a different feel, a different sort of style. You can even get ones where you can change the tip and it changes, you know, into like a brush or stuff like that. Very cool things. But you probably won't see many people with them unless they are, you know, into digital art. So moving on, this is the Xbox One, the very first one they brought out, in fact, like 500 gig. I have to uninstall games like nobody's business to install new games. Eventually I need to get like a bigger hard drive for it. I am looking at the Xbox One X now, but it only comes with a terabyte hard drive. I think that should be a standard 2 terabyte. Don't you agree? Because obviously, with buying every game like digitally now, I don't have access to them, and it's annoying. It's annoying because I want that. Now plugged into this, I have an Elgato gaming capture device thing. It's like a little brick, and basically what that does is it connects to my computer as well, and it records anything that comes through the HDMI that it's plugged into, allowing me to record my Xbox screen. It's a pretty basic model. It's not the 60 frames per second one. I probably should have got the 60 frames per second one, but hey ho. PlayStation 4 just here. I'm gonna be the first to admit, I don't play it at all really. I don't like the controllers, but it's great to have just for the exclusives like The Last of Us, The Last Guardian, which is still coming, by the way. I still have that game ready to play. It's coming. I'm just really slow with my Let's Plays right now. Now this thing right here is like a bookshelf, but I've put some feet on it. It's all from IKEA, just to raise up the monitor and give me more space so I can put things underneath. I think it works really well. Last but not least, we have this SteelSeries, what is it, like an Apex gaming keyboard. They call it a gaming keyboard. It's not really why I bought it. The fact that it lights up, still not why I bought it. I actually bought it for this thing alone, okay? You hear how quiet that is? If I had like a Cherry MX gaming keyboard with a mechanical keys, you would get a lot of noise, and that wouldn't be great for things like YouTube. You would hear the keyboard and me talking. Now the fact that it lights up is just a bonus, because it does look pretty cool. They are actually really cool. You can change the color on this. You can have this section one color, this section another color, that one and that one. If you want complete customization where you're changing the color of individual keys, you're gonna have to look somewhere else. This is not the gaming keyboard for you. Then for my mouse, we have a Rocat Tyon. It's a pretty standard gaming mouse with a few neat features, stuff like trim control. If you want to play flight simulator games, you can move that up and down. You've got obviously the buttons on either side here, and this sort of shark fin. I don't know how useful that's going to be to anyone. Personally, I've never used it. I do use this one a lot though, the thumb control. You can change the color of all these lights around here. It was fun for like the first half an hour. After that, you just kind of keep it the color it is. You can have it obviously like on different color settings, changing, breathing, all this kind of weird stuff. Personally, I just keep it red. So I've switched over to my phone just so I can show you what I actually record on. This right here is a Nikon D5300 and a Rode mic, which is built just literally to sit on top of there. The reason why I went for this DSLR is because obviously you got the flip out screen there, which is really helpful, but it's also like one of the cheapest and yet best DSLRs you can. So it's a good balance of price and performance. I've obviously got battery grip on here. This is not actually part of the camera. It's just so I can have two batteries working at the same time. So I can record a lot more than I should on just one battery. So I don't have to change around the batteries. You record about 20 minutes on a camera like this before you have to press the record button again. It's a bit annoying, but that's life. If I don't have the Rode mic on here, which normally I do, because if the audio fails on that thing there, then at least I have the audio from the Rode mic. But if I don't need that, what I will have is, this right here is a GoPro mount. So the GoPro will just sit there and I can record everything that this is recording with a GoPro, just in case this misses anything. In case I forget to stop and start it or something like that. You've also got this little tripod here, which is very unique. You press that button and you can swivel it around in any way you want. It's so helpful and so cool. It was great in America. It's like the only tripod I took, and it just was fantastic. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this tour of my studio slash battle station slash gaming room slash place I occupy often. Obviously, it took me a long time to get to this stage where I actually have a dedicated room and all this equipment for recording. It took a long time. It took a lot of hard work, earning money. You know, none of this stuff was given to me. So, you know, if you're out there and you don't have any, you know, thing to make YouTube videos with, don't worry, because I was in the same boat, you know, literally like a year ago. I didn't have this stuff back then, so, you know, if anything, I'm late to the game with this. Funny enough, there are wheels in progress that will actually force me to change pretty much everything about this. It's gonna change, and it's gonna change for the better. I'm gonna have to do a new studio tour thing a little bit further down the line, but more on that later on. But for now, if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not already, and I will see you in the next video, Pixels. See ya later, bye. I think this really shows that it's really hot in England. Don't you agree? I think, oh, it's so hot. I'm blind. Ah. Yeah, it's pretty warm in England. This is how I cool off. How do you cool off? A fan? No, that's weird. You're weird.